Well, welcome to the FMS YouTube channel. Whether this is your first time or you're returning for more, thank you for being here. My name's Braden. I'm going to be hosting today's video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the FMS Freedom Marine Solutions condensate removal device, or as we like to call it, the FMS Condensator. If you own a boat with an air conditioner, you are definitely going to want to check this video out. I'm going to chapter the video down below. You can check out the video description, or hopefully YouTube will segment off the sections of the video so that you can skip to the parts that are important to you, but I definitely recommend watching the whole thing if you have time. So let's get into it. So what exactly is the FMS condensator? Well, that's this guy right here. And this, the FMS condensator, is a condensation removal system with the goal of keeping your bilge area or your sump pump area dry on your boat. And we're doing this by using the Venturi effect. And that creates a small amount of vacuum on this nipple right here that we're gonna use to suck the condensate out of your air conditioner's drain pan and then expel it overboard. Pretty smart, right? So what is the Venturi effect? If you've seen my other videos, you know that I really like talking about definitions and explaining how this works. So the Venturi effect is defined as a reduction in fluid pressure that results when a moving fluid speeds up as it flows from one section of pipe to a smaller one. Okay, so there's the definition of it. And basically what that is the way we get this Venturi effect to work is we're using the air conditioner's cooling water. So we're using the pump and water pump that comes up and sends cooling water to the air conditioner. It's gonna enter in on this side right here, pass through this brass body into a chamber inside and come out the other side. As we pass through that chamber in the middle, we're gonna go through a restriction orifice, and that orifice is gonna allow the water to speed up as it heads toward the through hull, toward overboard, and that's gonna create a small amount of vacuum, like I said, on this little nipple right here. We're gonna connect that to your air conditioner's drain pan, suck the condensate, it's gonna mix with the water that's already in this chamber that just came through, and it's gonna join that water as it goes through the through hull over the side of the boat. And you know, you're probably wondering, like, why does this even matter? If you don't know about these before, if you've never heard of this, this is kind of actually a big deal because your options for dealing with air conditioner condensate are pretty limited. There's not a whole lot of ways that you can deal with it because the air conditioner is usually installed in the bottom of the boat at one of the very lowest points, right? And so most people are draining into their bilge and rely on the automatic bilge pump to remove the condensate buildup once it activates the pump float switch. And you may be thinking, well, it can't be all that much condensate being made, right? Like, how much are we actually dealing with here? You know, how much is this actually saving me in terms of like how often the pump's gonna operate, right? Well, let's do some math. I came prepared. So the math tells us that for about every 3,000 or so BTUs of cooling that an air conditioner is producing, about 1,000 of that is gonna see BTUs of latent heat that goes toward dehumidification. So for about every 3,000 BTUs, we're gonna get about 1,000 BTUs out of it strictly for dehumidification, and that's gonna see about a pint of water being made every single hour that this air conditioner is being run. And so let's do an example of a unit that I actually make here. So our most popular unit is the 16,500 BTU air conditioning unit. So if we do the math, we're looking at about 5,000 BTUs of that is gonna go directly to the latent heat, which is the removal of moisture from the air. So dehumidification, temperature change or phase change that you are not going to feel other than from the humidity being removed from the air. Air conditioners do two things. We remove temperature and we remove moisture. So 5,000 BTUs is going directly to that dehumidification. And like I said, it's roughly 1,000 BTUs to make 1 pint of water per hour. So we're talking about 5 pints of water an hour that this unit can make. So theoretically, if that air conditioner ran for 24 hours, you're looking at 120 pints of water or 15 gallons of water to deal with. That's a lot more than just a little bit, right? That's a lot of water. Now, obviously this math is saying like this is the theoretical maximum that you're gonna see out of this air conditioner, and obviously air conditioners don't run for 24 hours, they cycle on and off throughout the day, but we regularly are seeing 5, sometimes more than that, gallons of water that come out of customers' units on their boats because you're in the water, so it's in high humidity basically all the time. And so there's a lot of humidity to be taken out of the air, which means this unit is working very, very hard to remove that humidity from the boat when you're running it. And you know, when we're talking about this, condensation buildup can cause a lot of problems, right? So that's extra weight in your boat for every gallon of water that you're dumping into the bilge that the bilge pump hasn't gotten out yet. That's extra weight that you have to carry around. There's mold and mildew that's going to grow. We all know that air conditioners make some biological growth in their drain pans, things like that. So that condensate's just heading down into the bilge and then having a heyday and building some pretty nasty, gnarly stuff down there. And then you might even have some electrical issues, specifically like your bilge pump. If your bilge pump for some reason decides to fail, well, the water level is going to keep rising, and it killed your bilge pump because it's running so often to get rid of this condensate. And the condensator helps prevent all of these things by keeping it dry. We're going to reduce your maintenance headaches and also prolong the life of your boat's components, specifically that bilge pump that's always going to be having to deal with this air conditioner's condensate. Imagine if you had multiple air conditioners on a boat, which there's a lot of boats that do. They've got multiple AC units, so you're creating a lot of condensation to deal with all at one time. So one of the best things about this is how easy it is to install. Okay, so you're going to splice this guy directly into your air conditioner's cooling water that leaves the unit and then heads towards your through hull overboard. And our kit comes with pretty much everything you're going to need to install this. So I've got all the parts right here that go into the kit. So I'm going to bring this up so you guys can see kind of what comes in this. So you get a little box right here for your condensate kit. We've got your mounting hardware and clamps for hooking it into the piping. So like I said, this is the condensator itself. So this is the body. It comes with a nipple on each side. So you're gonna hook up you're gonna cut the hose and then hook up over here and hook up over here and clamp that thing down. And then the nipple right here is going to connect obviously to your air conditioner's condensate tray, and that's going to happen with this setup right here. So this right here is a nice little section of 1/4-inch hose that's going to connect to that nipple on top of the condensator, and this is a really nice length. So I'm 6 foot, and I've got another about 2 feet left to go, so we've got about 8 feet of hose right there. We've got this guy right here. Put my hand behind it so you can see it. That is a check valve. So this right here is stopping the water from flowing backwards out of the condensator back into your air conditioner drain pan. So that's keeping any water from going backwards. This is a little sure flow filter. So this is going to catch any debris that gets pulled out of your air conditioner's drain pan. And then this is actually going to be for a live demonstration here that I do. I actually got a really long piece of tubing, so I had plenty to work with. But right here, this is about the section you get. It's about a 10-inch section of pipe that you can use to connect directly to your air conditioner's tray. So this is going to go right onto your air conditioner, then the sure flow filter, then your check valve, and then this is going to head up to your condensator itself before joining into your cooling water pipe and then heading overboard. So we have a guide for installing and then maintaining the condensator. You can check it out on our website or contact us to get a hold of that. One cool thing about this is we do give a 1-year warranty on this condensator itself. So if anything goes wrong with it, we warranty this for a year directly from here at the factory. So now we're gonna do a live demonstration, and I've always wanted to do this, so. And just like that, with the help of a little bit of movie magic, I now am fully set up and ready to do a demonstration for you. And as the keen-eyed amongst you will see, I have taken my laptop and moved it away from the table so that I can work with some water here. And so I've got the condensator set up. I have under the table with me right now, I have a 500 gallon per hour pump running right now. So there's water going through this condensator right now. And then you'll hear every once in a while, you hear the suction being created out of this venturi tube. So I've got the pump running, we've got water flowing, and so I'm gonna hook up the tube here. And the reason I'm gonna leave this really long tube on the condensator is I wanna show you the track of water that goes through it. And then we're gonna grab, I've got a gallon jug full of water that we're gonna suck dry. So there we go. And now, so I don't know if you can see that, but as she's a-going, we are moving water out of this bucket and into the condensator, and I'm gonna talk over it. So this is a 1 gallon container, and I'm gonna put a little timer probably right here so you can see how fast this is going. But the condensator is already primed. We are already moving water through this thing. You can see the water actively moving through the piping there. You can see the bubbles as a little bit of air is coming out of the system. So, you know, we're recommending that you run this on a 500 gallon per hour pump specifically and above. That's kind of the recommendation. You can run this on a slower pump, but there will be some losses in between, and I'll kind of show you guys what to expect in terms of like loss in the system. But you can see it's only been a little bit here and we're already down a significant amount of water. So remember I said, you know, the most an air conditioner is going to make theoretical maximum is 15 gallons in a 24-hour period. Well, we're going to get a gallon down here in probably less than, you know, 5 minutes as we suck this dry. So yeah, you can see the condensator working there. I might speed up this section of the video so that we're not sitting here watching it the whole time. Or I'll just sit here and you can skip ahead to a time block that I'll put right up here so that you can go to that section where you can see this get all the way down. So we're just gonna wait for that to happen. You know, how's your day going so far? I just wanted to show a live demonstration on this. I wanted people to see it in action and see how it actually functions. So again, you know, that little SureFlow filter right here, that's just keeping any debris that we might pull out of this system. It has to go through that SureFlow filter first before it heads out to the condensator kit itself. And it's moving some water. Like it's moving quite a lot of water. I think I'm gonna move this right here so you can see the water flowing through the thing. So this is going right now. Like this is moving. Just so you can see that happening. So she's a pulling. We're pulling some serious water out of this thing. I also have a 1200 gallon per hour pump under the table as well, and I'm gonna hook that one up next and see if there's any difference for you guys in my live demo here for how fast it removes condensation. Not that it's gonna matter. You really don't need a 1,000 gallon per hour pump on your air conditioner unless you're running multiple units. So the best case scenario would be taking that 1,200 gallon per hour pump and then splitting it amongst 2 or 3 air conditioners that you'd be using and have each air conditioner equipped with its own condensator. The very important thing to keep in mind when talking about this condensator too is this gets installed after the air conditioner, because once this bucket is empty, once this is dry, we're gonna suck air, and air is gonna enter your tube here, leaving the condensator, and you do not want aerated water going through your air conditioner trying to keep it cool. That's why you want the condensator to come after the air conditioner, so that way this side is always full of water, passes through the chamber, and then this side can be aerated water. We don't care that it's aerated because it's heading toward the through hull and going overboard. So we are nearing the end here of this container. We're probably about a quarter of the way left to go. I'm not going to be able to get the whole thing empty here, but you can see that is pretty impressive, pretty significant in terms of the performance of this, and very, very cool to see this happening live. That is very, very cool to see happening just in real time. The condensator removing all that moisture out of that container. And then obviously, you know, the check valve is working good. We've gotten questions on, you know, does this create a strong enough vacuum to activate the check valve? The answer is absolutely. Like check valves are not made to be particularly hard to pull open. So this does create like a pretty impressive amount of suction for what it is. I was very, very impressed when I came onto the team and saw this working for the first time. Obviously, I'm no stranger to the Venturi effect or the principle. I've worked with it in school and stuff, but to see it used like this is really, really awesome. Very, very cool product to be able to host and then offer up to our customers. So this container is coming near the bottom there, so we're almost done. Let me just tip it so that we keep going. And I don't know if you can see by my hand, you can see the water going through that pipe. All right, so now we're at the end, and so you're gonna see the air entering the system. So you're gonna see that hose evacuate, and then there's now all the water's out. So you can see the little bubbles as they pass by. And so now you can hear the aeration that's happening with the system. So here, let me pull the hose out here. Let's see if, oh yeah. I'm gonna make sure there's no background music in this section of the video as well. But so very, very impressive performance out of this. We'll have a final number on the screen of how long it took to empty this 1 gallon container with this. So let me do the whole snappy snap thing again, and let's fast forward to a 1,200 gallon per hour pump hooked up to this system. This is not getting old, trust me. This is kind of fun. So same setup as before, except now we're running on a 1,200 gallon per hour pump. Let me show you if it goes any faster with the thing so we can hear the condensator's working, like very much so. All right, boom. Timer is going. We should see the timer again here on the screen so you guys can see how long that's taking. Cool. So, oh, that's going significantly faster. Yeah, much faster. I won't have long because this is going. That's moving. That was all the way up to the neck of the bottle here before I put the hose in. So this is moving some water. I love this thing more and more every single time that I use it. I really do. Really awesome product. As you're gonna see here in a minute when I show you guys the live, it disassembled. I have one already here disassembled so I can show you the parts. And really one of the major benefits of ours being the fact that you can disassemble, do maintenance and cleaning on it, as well as replace parts if something were to go wrong with anything. So yeah, and I'll talk about that here in a minute, but we are going, we are moving some serious water out of this container right here. You can see that on video as it flows through. Let me see if I can get the, every time that I move this, you can see all the air bubbles go through the setup that I moved it around. So I'm not going to talk too much technical things because most people are going to skip over this section of the video anyway, just because they don't want to wait for a container of water to be emptied. But who knows? Maybe you're very entertained by this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a very entertaining person for you to be watching right now as I watch this container get emptied. Riveting content right there. Yep. This should go on a YouTube best 5 videos for sure. Watching a jug of water get emptied by condensator kit. Yep. She's going. We're getting there. We're at about a third of the way left to go right now. So again, this is a full gallon of water, right? And we're doing this in, I don't know what the timer's gonna say. And honestly, for me, the time just kind of flies because I'm talking and, fascinated as I sit here like a kid on Christmas doing these videos. So I actually don't know how much time is passing. So yeah, for you, you're gonna see the timer up here on the screen. You're gonna know exactly how long this is taking, and you'll see the final numbers here compared at the end. So we are getting really close. I'm gonna take this and do the same thing. I'm gonna tilt it again so we can get the rest of the water out of this container. almost there. You can just see the last little bit of water. And time. There we go. We got some bubbles in the system. So hang on. We got to watch the air bubbles again. Ah. Hey, look at that. All the condensation removed that that was in that container. So pretend that this was your air conditioner. That is a very empty drain pan right now. And that is probably the #1 comment I get on this condensator itself. I'm gonna shut the pump off so it's not interrupting. But final numbers right here on how long that one took, and we'll do a quick comparison between the two of them after I put all this away, turn the pump off, and all that stuff. So one last time, just for the sake of the sake. All right, so now that we did that live demonstration, let's do a disassembly. So here's the condensator, and here's the most boring part of the condensator. This is just a brass body with a male fitting, and then obviously all the stuff happens inside. The important parts are obviously on the other side of it. So, you know, you've got your barb fitting that's gonna go in. This is a male that's gonna go into the female end there. Behind that is a plastic gasket. This is just for sealing it. There's gonna also be some thread sealant in there as well. And then these two are the stars of the show. So this guy right here, that is your orifice. This is actually the chamber that is doing the restriction so that we get the Venturi effect, so the condensator can function. And then this is the nipple that pulls the condensate out of the drain pan. And the way that that sits is the condensation nipple right here sits right in the body. So right there in the body is a whole grooved out section where that drops down into a chamber. Now this is going to be kind of hard to see, but let's see if the camera can focus in on that. There we go. So inside the chamber there, this orifice will sit down inside there. The water will flow through the condensator, creating that Venturi effect, and then the water will be sucked out of the drain pan. So that is how it gets taken apart, and also goes to show you just like how easy it would be to clean this out. So if you could take this piece out, any grime, gunk, barnacles, anything that get inside this body, 9 times out of 10, if you pull this orifice out and clean out inside there, boom, condensator will go back to working. Now this is not something that'll happen often. We're talking somebody that's had this for years, and then all of a sudden has that's needed. There was one person that was in extremely brackish water and very sandy water, and actually this brass body wore down and got basically sandpapered from the inside by the water flow. I can't imagine what that was doing to the other components in the system as well, but we sent them a replacement orifice, and boom, condensator was back up and functioning again just like it was supposed to be. A lot of condensators out there are made of plastic. Like a lot of competitor products that do this same thing are made of plastic. And I can only imagine how plastic would have fared in that situation. Probably would not have lasted very long at all. In fact, they went almost the full year of the warranty before reaching out to us and saying, hey, I'm not 100% sure what happened there. So just keep in mind that, you know, having something that's repairable and easy to fix, you invest in it one time and it should last you the life of your air conditioner and beyond. This should last multiple air conditioners without any kind of problem. We have hundreds of these, thousands of these that are out there all around the world that have been in operation for many, many years. Before FMMS, Mermaid was selling these as well. So we took over Mermaid. If you've not watched our FMS introductory video, you can check that out. These things have been around the block for a very long time, been out in the field, and we're very competitive on the price with our competitors' products as well. So just keep in mind that this is extremely easy to take apart. I had this one apart in probably 10 minutes. Obviously getting it out of your piping and stuff may take a little bit longer, but to actually pull this all apart is pretty straightforward. I kind of have that in my guide for how to do maintenance on this as well. So that's something you definitely want to consider when deciding if you want to purchase one of these. Is this product from us is extremely reliable and very, very durable. And a couple other considerations you want to keep in mind is you want to mount this as close to the air conditioner as possible. The lift that the condensator can actually pull, the actual, off the ground level of lift that the condensator can pull is around 4 feet. That's kind of the maximum that the suction will do with a decent flow rate. You can go higher. I think I've gone my full height, so 5.5 feet, holding it at chest level. It pulled right from the ground up in some of my testing, but you want to mount it low. You want to mount it close to the air conditioner drain pan, low to the air conditioner, as close to it as possible, because the further it is away from the air conditioner, the harder it's going to have to suck on the condensation that's coming out of the drain pan, and the harder it's going to be for it to lift that up and out of the drain pan. So the closer it is, like you saw in my demonstration, when it's just at the same level as the water that it's draining out, it goes absolutely wicked fast compared to what you would have thought it'd be able to do. We do recommend a 500 gallon per hour pump or higher on this. Now you could use a less than that pump. You could use probably a 350 or 400 and be just fine. There is losses when going through this restriction orifice, and other losses in the system. You're going through a pump strainer, you're going through your fittings and all that stuff. So there's things to keep in mind when you're sizing a pump for this, when you're sizing this. When I measured the two pumps that I did in the demo today, they actually had the same flow rate on the other side of the condensator. So coming out of the condensator, now my setup here is not perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm not running in any kind of ideal conditions. The boat is not in the water. I am in a room as I film this video. So coming out of the condensator, we were getting around 150, 180 gallons per hour, edging closer to that, like 200 gallons per hour coming out of the condensator after it has done its Venturi effect. And this is with just sucking on air. So this is assuming the drain pan is completely dry. And you're probably thinking, okay, we just lost like everything the pump gave us, right? I have a 1200 gallon per hour pump. What happened to that? Well, the 1200 gallon per hour pump, you gotta remember these are just sticker gallon per hour numbers. This is with no tubing connected, no fittings, no nothing, no losses. So that 1200 gallon per hour pump actually, when I measured it without the condensator hooked up, we were only getting about 400 gallons per hour. So yeah, it cut it in half, but that was nowhere close to going from 1200 down to 200 gallons per hour. And the 500 gallon per hour pump had the same exact flow rate. So about that 150 to 200 gallons per hour coming out of the condensator. And as far as what was it doing with no condensator attached, we were looking at around 300 gallons per hour. So that was only about a 30% reduction, 30 to 40% reduction in the water flow going through that pump. And that may seem like a lot, but you also have to remember that air conditioners are only, we're only trying to get a delta T of about 10 degrees across that air conditioner. And so the amount of water flow that an air conditioner needs is not that high, especially even my larger ones, like a 16,000 or a 24,000 BTU. They don't actually need all that much water flow because water is so thermally absorbent. Like water can hold so much heat before it finishes passing through that condenser coil on the back of the air conditioner. And then in the heat mode, slowing the water down is not necessarily an issue because the air conditioner is going to like that. It's going to like that it doesn't actually have to work as hard to get the heat out, because in the heat mode, you're going to produce more heat because of the fact that the faster the water is going through, the air conditioner is working harder trying to suck heat out of that water, because it's just trying the whole time to get that heat out of there. So, it may seem like a large reduction, but it's really not. And I have thoroughly tested this too when I joined the team. Like I ran an air conditioner for like a long time, hot air. I had another unit blowing hot air at it while I had a condensator hooked up. Never had a problem. We were running completely fine, almost identical numbers and pressures to without a condensator installed. So the thing with the losses is you just want to keep in mind that you need a large enough pump to be able to handle this, but you don't want too big because otherwise you're not gaining anything by going to a larger pump. A larger pump is just going to make the pressure go through this faster, but it really didn't measure out to anything measurable in terms of like how much the flow was coming out of it. It just increased the amount of velocity that was coming through. So you know, it's an interesting conversation with that. And really what we're going by too is you want to look at your pump table. So if you're using a known and well-known brand for doing air conditioning like this, you know, you've got Danner, you've got March Pumps, you've got all these different air conditioning pumps out there. The good reputable brands are very honest about their performance. So they're going to tell you that with 0 feet of lift, my pump does this flow rate. And all of a sudden at 4 feet, it's like half of whatever that pump was rated for. Well, you know, I'm going from the ground up here to the table. A lot of times your pump is going to be down on the same level as the air conditioner is. So you're not going to have the effect that I'm creating here with this pump where it's down there on the ground coming up here to this table. So you got to keep in mind that pump tables really come into effect with this system. A lot of people don't think about, okay, well, my air conditioner only needs a 300 gallon per hour pump, so I'm going to buy a 300 gallon per hour pump. It's like, no, it's not that simple. The recommendation is, you know, 300 gallons per hour. That could be a manufacturer recommending the flow rate through the air conditioner, which I doubt, because not very many air conditioners are going to need that much performance going through them, except the larger ones like the 24,000 to 30,000 BTU units. But you definitely would just want to keep up on all of these topics, and if you want to talk about it more, you can contact us. So, all right, that is a wrap for the FMS condensator kit. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button down below, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and drop a comment if you have any questions. Be sure to visit our website, fmmsusa.com, or give me a call during office hours. We're happy to help you. So I'll catch you in the next video.